Michigan. Michigan had Ric Flair come to the building, Aaron. Ric Flair, of course, one of the all-time great wrestling personalities, a man known as a bit of a heel and a villain himself at times. And, now Michigan's saying they're embracing the villain role. Here's a great quote from O-lineman Zach Zinter, who's a beast. Quote, sometimes the villain wins and takes down the superhero. If that's going to be the case, let's be a villain and take him down. I'm fine with being the villain if that's how the media and everyone else sees it outside the building. So I'm of two thoughts here, Aaron. First off, if I was on Michigan, I would be saying the exact same thing, right? You gotta embrace it. You gotta say F the world. It's everybody against us. I think the problem with Michigan right now is, he hit the nail on the head. For the villain to be cool, he has to win. He has to take down the superhero. Like, Michigan has to win something. Right now, you're just an asshole. You're just an asshole that nobody likes. At least if you win a championship, you become interesting because you've kind of flaunted all moral and ethical conventions and used it to claim the ultimate prize.
Well, it's funny. We talked this summer. We gave I think it was on 4th of July. We did like, who's America's team? And I made a strong case for Michigan. Like I said,
yeah,
like,
we
Michigan,
did. I forgot.
Yeah, like I picked Michigan as like who's America's team right now, and I was like, well, I think it's Michigan. It's a blue blood. It's a big brand, but hasn't won.
It's a Norman Rockwell painting, like you said.
Took down Ohio State, who a lot of people don't like Ohio State. It's like, I generally felt and thought that people would be rooting for Michigan this year. Like, could Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, good old man who just loves to eat eggs and steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a good American. That's Michigan football. People want them to win. And now all of a sudden, it does feel like that is completely flipped, at least in my mind, of, they are the bad boys, the cheaters, the villain, whatever you want to label them. That is Michigan football right now. And, you saw them, was the first game of the season, when Jim Harbaugh first got suspended. The offense went out there and kind of made a statement. Yeah, they made a statement. I truly think in that locker room right now, they're like, I don't care, or we don't care if people view us as one thing. We know we're good.
Yeah.
And us against the world is a pretty strong mentality. So I think they rally around that, and I think they kick some ass going forward.
And again, that's exactly what the locker room should do, right? Yeah. But outside looking in, there's no doubt that, they are way less likable now. And again, they're just kind of assholes until they win something, right? Like, don't get your ass kicked by TCU.
How do you view the Astros, though? Like, it's such a similar comparison with.
I think, look, and this is coming from a lot of
Houston.
Yes, I was going to say, a lot of Louisiana people are huge Astros fans. So I see kind of the batten down the hatches, like, F the world, like, we are the Astros, whatever. It's the same type deal, right? It's like the Patriots. It's how people view the Patriots. And so if you're within that community, you do the Tyrion Lannister and you just wrap yourself up in it and you say, F all of y'all, I don't care, we're gonna win. Because, like, that's the only way to really win this. Like, what have the Astros done? They just kept winning.
Patriots,
what did the Patriots do after Spygate? They just kept winning. That's the ultimate way to just say, screw all of y'all, doesn't matter. So we'll see. Silky Johnson says 6-point loss equals ass kicked. If it's TCU versus Michigan, yes, Silky. Yeah. Like, especially with the national championship berth line. Absolutely. I mean, not even a question, Silky. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Do
you think this team needs Harbaugh to win a championship? I think that's an interesting conversation about this, because if he does get suspended and say they impose something and Harbaugh kind of just takes it and doesn't want to be a distraction and let this thing keep going, are they a good enough team to have that mentality and go win a championship? Or is he the thing that keeps it going?
No, I mean, I never quite know the answer there, right? Because how much does a head coach actually do?
Yeah.
Then I feel like we have some correlation with head coaches not being there and teams playing worse. So that's tough to say. I don't know that I have a great answer. Here. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm kind of bored of this. So let's just get into the only other things that you need to know about the story right now. The Big Ten has notified, Michigan received a formal notification letter from the Big Ten on Saturday of potential disciplinary action. The Big Ten, it goes back to what Peter Burns said yesterday. He didn't pull that out of thin air, right? The idea out there right now is that Tony Petitti can cover himself by indefinitely suspending Jim Harbaugh, but that according to multiple Michigan lawyers, that Michigan would be able to fight that decision legally, claiming that you can't do that until the NCAA investigation ends, and that basically you would end up with kind of a legal stalemate where Petitti could be like, I tried to suspend him indefinitely, but now it's in the courts and it's out of my hands. So that's what's going on here. The funniest thing I read all day about this, and also NCAA is now investigating Stallions on the CMU sideline for that sort. The funniest thing I've read all day here is just that is a great story about Connor Stalions moving to Michigan in Ann Arbor in 2022 and purchasing a house. And then all of a sudden the neighbors see dozens of old vacuum cleaners show up on the porch. Somebody complains to the HOA. He then gets brought to trial over this HOA violation because the HOA has accused him of operating an appliance refurbishing business out of his home. And on a court document, Stallion says, quote, I suspect that whoever has chosen to sue me either one, doesn't like the fact I'm a veteran, or two, is a Michigan State fan and knows I'm a Michigan football coach and wants to draw attention away. He would later go on to reference, quote, someone named Jeff who lived down the street and had his son attending Michigan State. Quote, he uncomfortably questioned me about Michigan football and what goes on in our building, giving me a bad feeling about him. He definitely seemed like someone who wants to distract me with unnecessary time-consuming things like this. How funny is it that Connor Stalions, of all people, is getting a bad feeling about Jeff down the street and his intentions for the Michigan football program, given what Connor was doing
to distract him from his mission of creating an empire at the University of Michigan.
Connor really playing the victim card here. HOAs are ridiculous. Like, they're funny, make no mistake. But you can't have dozens of fucking vacuum cleaners on your porch. That's an eyesore. Like, I don't care if you're running the business out. If you want to refurbish vacuum cleaners, whatever. That's an odd angle. But do your thing, man. Like, it's a grind. We're all trying to make it out here. That's a good side hustle, I guess. But like, you can't be having it. You can't just have dozens. Think about how ridiculous dozens of vacuum cleaners looks. Keep it in the backyard, not the front yard. What are we doing here? Also, Pat Gunther and our producer with a great line. Nothing funnier than saying these accusations are a waste of time while he's refurbishing vacuum cleaners. Hey, look, dude. It does beg the question, though. Who is a bigger threat to Connor Stalions? Jeff and the HOA or the NCAA? I don't know, dude. NCAA is pretty feckless. HOAs fuck with people.
Oh, I know.
I think I'm gonna side with the HOA.
I've been they've almost stopped me from redoing my entire roof when the roof was already off. HOA came and said, you didn't get that approved. Tell them to put the shingles back on the roof. I'm like, wow. Listen, it's already off. That ain't happening. I'm sorry. That ain't happening. Oh, she was pissed. She came banging on my door 7:30 in the morning. Put that roof back on. You did not get that approved. I'm like, lady, they've been here for an hour. They've been here since 6 a.m. The roof is off, and they're putting it on new ones. And I promise you they'll look the same. So she literally looked at me and said, you need to tell them to put it back on.
HOA people have way too much fucking time on their hands. Way too much time. But again, Connor, just move the vacuum cleaners in the backyard. What are we doing? All right. So that's everything on the Connor Stallion story. It continues to be weird as hell. Go win something, Michigan.